We are back. Liam Howlett and Josh Packer. In our last video, we talked specifically about the Jumeirah Golf Estates 2 villa project that launched, as it is our favourite launch of the year so far. However, in this video, we're going to talk on a bit more of a broad spectrum about villas.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the supply just can't keep up at the moment in the villa market. It's definitely one of the hottest opportunities that are available. I think, if you look back already for the first half of the year, we've got 30% average increase in prices on villas.
Unbelievable.
There's just not enough of them about, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think in 2024, there were 8,900 villas handed over. And there's a forecast of around 19,000 villas in 2025. Of course, this year we've seen multiple major villa communities launched by your top developers, Aldar, Miras, Emaar, Wassel, all with a lot to say about their own projects. What would you say is the key sort of factor within a villa investment and what you need to look for?
In terms of what the client needs to be looking for?
Absolutely, because we're looking on an investment perspective. So if you're looking at a villa investment, what do you want to look for that will ensure performance? I
think it takes a little bit of vision as well. It's a little bit more difficult when people are looking at Offplan, trying to see what's coming up in terms of, okay, we're going to go to this area, there's not much going on here. So I think if you're looking at government-backed developers, you're in a sound position. If you know that you've got a government-backed developer there, you're going to be able to see what infrastructure is going in there. You're going to be able to have a better understanding of what they've done in the past. You might not favour, in fairness, on some of the payment plans, if that's the case, but it's going to be a big ticking point and you're going to know that you're safe.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a huge variant in terms of payment plan that we see.
Yeah.
Does that come with quality? I mean, we know that any Emaar community is going to be well thought through, well designed. You've got a souk, building a community there, culture. However, the payment plan is very front heavy. So you're looking at an 80-20 payment plan. That's 80% of the funds during construction.
Yeah. I think they do a good job, in fairness, of spreading it out. I think 20% a year is about how it averages out. And then you've got your final 20%. But yeah, I mean, we spoke about Jumeirah Golf Estates last time, and they've come in strong, right? Jumeirah Golf Estates 2, the new project launched there, they've got a 50-50 payment plan.
Absolutely.
Other than Aflon's project, or Alda's project, Aflon, there's nothing close to it.
No, absolutely. And I mean, Aflon was quite a key focus for myself. I think it's a very strategic location. So that whole E311 sort of green corridor that's being created right now, which is the next step out from Dubai Hills, you do have announcements of new roads coming down from Dubai Hills to connect into next to Global Village, which will dramatically increase the price per square foot, because in the villa market, we do need to look at price per square foot. It's a very important factor with investment.
I think so Aldar, so Emaar are obviously the biggest at the moment, right? We know they are. I think Aldar is one to watch. I think over the next 5 to 10 years, they're probably going to be one of the biggest players in the UAE. I mean, they've got 80%, 85% of the land bank in Abu Dhabi at the moment.
For sure.
And like you say, you've got that new road, the Latifa bin Hamdan Street, that's going to directly link to their project, their flagship project.
Absolutely.
7 minutes, maybe it's at 2 a.m. in the morning, but 7 minutes is the timeline that you'll get from there straight down onto the Al Khail Road.
Absolutely, with the metro station right off the back of the project and the connecting road directly to the new Al Maktoum Airport, which is huge factors when looking at these projects. I mean, they also had Wilds, which is just up on the other side of the E311, almost next to Al Barari, which again is a huge master community that's coming into the market, and it's very hard for especially investors who don't know much about the market to decide, well, why this one over this one? So I guess that's what we need to.
Let's talk a little bit about that then. So performance to date. So how's the villa market sort of performed over the this year, let's say?
I mean, this year we've seen an uplift in average pricing of 30%, so an appreciation of 30% across the whole market.
And that's average across everything, so that takes into consideration some of your ready-built units, off-plan units, everything. And you're right, I think it started off strong. Even if you go back to the beginning of the year, 65% increase just in them first few months versus the previous year.
Yeah.
And it definitely shows the shift in type of consumer that's in Dubai right now.
Yeah.
And you've seen that in your mortgages as well, right?
I think the interesting stat that I like is there's been 80% more mortgages between, I think it's 5 and 10 million dirhams, which shows middle-class families are leveraging finance, and that shows a commitment that they're here to stay. A very healthy economy, and they're effectively potentially moving out of apartment living into these villa communities, which is what is driving the demand so many more people want to live in these villa communities, and I think that's an aspect of sort of green spaces, healthy living, and having that sort of different lifestyle.
So maybe a couple of examples, what we've seen so far this year. Just top line, price per square foot, location, what stands out? Because there's a big difference in terms of what some people are going to require as their main focus, whether I want to be a little bit further out because I'm purely looking for capital appreciation, or I want to be directly near Business Bay and I don't mind paying a little bit more.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you mentioned Business Bay, you've got Nad Al Sheba Gardens, which is very, very close. That comes in at around 2,500 dirhams per square foot. Now, if you looked at the original launch of Grand Polo, you're looking between sort of 1,700 and 1,900, depending on which unit you choose. And then you could almost go to the other end of the spectrum, where you've got Dubai South with Hyatt launching at around 1,100 dirhams per square foot. Of course, a much longer play. But then, I mean, just talk about Palm Jebel Ali, for example. Yeah, so Palm Jebel Ali, obviously, we've seen what people have done before. I think it was like 10 times return people have made up to year to date, right? But if you just take so it was recently just launched in 2024. They relaunched it because obviously it stopped down there, didn't it? But they recently just launched their garden villas, garden homes, and their final villas on the tip of the fronds. Now they're starting at 28 mil, okay? Which might not mean a lot to most people, but if you was to directly compare that to what you're getting on Palm Jumeirah at the moment, you're looking at around about 50, 60 mil. Yeah. So the opportunities are still there, right? For sure. But it's a different kind of investment. Like you say, you've got to be willing to ride that out for, people are going to say 4 years, but to get the good money, 5, 6, 7 years. Until it's fully operational and people are living and working and traveling there for leisure as well. Yeah. Of course, it's a bit of a long-term play, but that is one key part about villa investments, is you have to see the vision. Yeah. But I think there's other factors that come into it, which is location. Yeah. So one of our favourite projects is obviously Jumeirah Golf Estates 2. Just behind Jumeirah Golf Estates 2, you have the Oasis. So both very, very different products, but both very, very good investments. Yeah. And I would say they're both very good investments for the location. So location is very key when you're looking at these projects, because you obviously have businessmen and women working and living there that need to travel, whether that's access to the airport, whether that's access downtown. We've got a map of that. We'll put it up on the screen. I don't know how we'll do it. We'll make sure it goes on the screen, but you can see it. Like you say, you start at Business Bay, you've got Nad Al Sheba there, around 2,500 dirhams a square foot. You come over a little bit further back, you've got Aflon's Aldar project around about 2,000 dirhams a square foot. 2,050 dirhams per square foot at the moment. But with that new road expansion, Latifa bin Hamdan, I think that's a really, really good one to watch out for. And then you move a little bit further back, like you say, you've got the main two EMAR projects. Grand Polo and Oasis. Their next launch maybe around 1,900, 2,000 dirhams a square foot. Yeah, for sure. Definitely Grand Polo. Yeah. I would say the Oasis probably slightly higher than that. Yeah. But then again, you could argue the location is slightly better. Yeah. And then Jumeirah Golf Estates, around about 2,000 at the recent launch. Yeah, the most recent launch was anything from 1,950 to sort of 2,200, depending on the unit that you chose, which of course, throughout the coming launches, we'll steadily see that increase. But yeah, I mean, there's a load of different options, and we obviously have some further phases coming up, whether that's JG2, Oasis, Grand Polo. They're all definitely key to look out for. I mean, what would your game plan be for these projects? I mean, again, talking about location, so we're starting there at 2,500. That's today's location. But as the country as the Emirate moves south, these ones we're talking about are going to be the new centre of Dubai, right? Absolutely. JG, EMAR, Grand Polo, Oasis, they will become the new centre. Yeah. So again, if you've got that vision, I definitely think they're the place to go. Of course. I really, really do. But in terms of what people should be looking out for, I think within the community, they need to know that there is some scarcity. They need to know that actually this isn't just going to keep going and going and going and going and going. Yeah. I can see actually even in the master plan, how many villas are going to be going in that area. Yeah. Again, Jumeirah Golf Estates, we keep talking about this one, but it's a huge community, but number of villas around the golf course, very scarce. Yeah, for sure. So it's always going to hold its value. Something like only 1,000 villa units will be launched in total. Exactly, within Oasis, you've got 3,000 plus. Yeah. However, what I would say is Oasis is a very well-designed community. You have obviously water bodies, and I would say because they're all standalone villas, they're all very well positioned. So there's not any capped, right? Even then, even at 3,000, it sounds a lot, but
there's 1,000 people arriving a day now.
Absolutely.
In comparison, it's very minimal.
We've discussed the demand is definitely there. I think it's just matching that to the potential price per square foot appreciation.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at the price per square foot appreciation within Oasis, what is the limit that it could reach? I mean, it's currently at around 2,000 dirhams per square foot.
Yeah.
Could we hit 3,000 dirhams per square foot? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to happen quicker in the likes of Jumeirah Golf Estates 2, where you have a bit more of a purpose. You have the Etihad Rail.
Yeah.
You have probably already the most exclusive community in Dubai in Jumeirah Golf Estates 1. But it's not to say it's a bad investment, because once that community is flourishing, it will build its own sort of legacy, if that makes sense.
Well, like you say, it launched at 1,650, 1,700, and we've already got resales transacting during construction now.
Absolutely.
At 2,100-ish, 2,150.
Absolutely.
So that's during construction, right?
Yeah.
And then when you get to your handover, starts to become mortgageable,
Sure.
opens up an entire new audience. You're going to see that.
Buyers.
You're going to see that around about 2027 transacting 2,400, 2,500 dirhams.
For sure.
Sets the baseline again, and it just keeps going up and up and up.
Absolutely. I think that's where the detached standalone villas do come into their own, because they are targeted by mortgage buyers and wealthy individuals that want these homes for their families.
Obviously, we've talked about what's launched so far. Do any of these still have availability? How quickly are these projects selling out?
Of course. So this is where, with these popular launches, it is so important to be ahead of the game.
Yeah.
We know that there's a launch coming up on the last week of November that I already have clients lined up for. Because if you're not prepared within a month of that launch, you will be left in the dust. I think we've already seen it with Grand Polo, the amount of clients we had come in sort of the week, 2 weeks after, and you just can't get a unit because it's sold out.
I know, right?
It just goes so quickly. So obviously it's just being prepared for that. So I think it's getting in touch, understanding your budget, understanding where we need to be in terms of price per square foot, what your unit type you want to go for, and then we can finesse those things for you and understand your unit that you need to go for that will perform the best.
So so we've got Jumeirah Golf Estates coming up. Got Emaar Oasis coming up.
Absolutely. We've got the Mandarin Oriental villas in Jumeirah Golf Estates, the branded villas. Of course, these are the mansions on the golf course. One of one type villas, which will be, a portion of them will be launching before the end of the year. And then we've also got Emaar Oasis. There's 2 more phases to go in Emaar Oasis. And we will see one of them before the end of the year.
Great.
And then also potentially another Grand Polo phase.
Grand Polo is a good entry point as well, because it's a lot lower price bracket, right? 6.5, 7.5 mil, that sort of price range you're going to expect between there.
Absolutely, I think we'd be expecting just below the 7 mil mark for starting. And then I think the Oasis will be looking a bit more towards the 11 million mark for this launch. But yeah, I think definitely if you are interested in a villa investment, it's important to get in touch now. We can give you full insight into the market, what's still available in Athlon, Wilds, Acres, and then obviously look at the upcoming launches and make sure you're prepared to secure the best unit that will perform the best.
Yeah, and I mean, I've prepared a comparison document as well, which is going to give a full overview, all of the villa launches in the market that have happened so far, price per square foot, what you can expect to gain from each. And that also includes a capital appreciation outlook as well. So
for sure.
Yeah, if anybody wants any more information on it, is looking to get involved in the villa market, just reach out.
Fantastic. Thank you.